I absolutely love Polaroids, the magic behind them, how they have such a beautiful simplicity to them, and when you add them to a journal page or a paper project, they make your page come to life. This is the first video of a series where we're going to be making Polaroids, creating Polaroid pages, and then turning those pages into a beautiful Polaroid journal. And now let's take a look as to why I absolutely love Polaroids, how I love using them, and how I make them with magazines, paper, and other little scrap pieces that you probably have lying around. So in these two envelopes is where I store and have been keeping the Polaroids that I created almost 2 years ago. They have sentiments on them, faux stitching, and I keep them in these sweet little envelopes, and these are little page envelopes. These are part of a new digital that are in my Etsy shop right now. They have coordinating beautiful vintage papers to match. They're the perfect size to store Polaroid pictures in. So this is where it all started, with the digital Polaroid pictures as well as the Polaroid frames, and I started creating Polaroids out of magazine pages and papers as well. You don't have to use images to create Polaroids. You can also just use sentiments and any type of typography that you like, or quotes. You can take a Polaroid frame, either one that's already made for you, or you can simply take a piece of paper, add a decorative paper right on top, making sure that the measurements are equal on both sides, and then add a sentiment right on top. The wind is rising, the air is wild with leaves. So Polaroid frames are perfect to accompany them with sentiments as well as any type of poetry or quote that you love. For the Polaroid cards that I created that are physically in my shop, these are not a digital, but this is an example of how you can combine not only imagery, but also quotes and sentiments with your actual images to complete the Polaroids. And you have something beautiful that can be used as a journaling card or as a standalone art piece that you can gift to a loved one. Not only can you create Polaroids for more of a decorative effect, such as this one, you can also use Polaroids to document your life and your memories. I included an image of myself on top of a Polaroid. These were one of the Polaroid frames that were in my shop as a digital, and I just cut my picture to size and included it in my little book. And I've also done the same thing with my little Loki bear here. I had a little Polaroid, added some washi, and put his little picture inside of the Polaroid frame. You can create Polaroids to document your life, and they're actually functional, not just beautiful. The great thing about Polaroids is that they can also come in many shapes and sizes. This is a pile of ephemera that I created using magazine pages. The great thing about creating your own Polaroids out of magazines, paper scraps, whatever you have lying around, is that you can choose the size of them. This Polaroid I created using one of my vintage frames from my digital, added a beautiful floral bouquet from, I believe it was a vintage magazine, added a little paper strip, and a scrap of paper at the bottom. This was more of a rustic and deconstructed Polaroid. As you can see, it doesn't have the edge finished, compared to a typical Polaroid where all the sides are the same. Using this method still gives you that magical effect of a Polaroid. It's a beautiful organic version of your typical Polaroid. You can also make Polaroid tags. This is another project that I shared, taking this beautiful butterfly, cutting it to the dimensions of a Polaroid, leaving the little side so that it gives that Polaroid effect, and extending the top and the bottom a little bit more, adding one of my sweet little sentiment labels, a stamp, and a little piece of scrap paper. And you can easily just hole punch this, add some twine or some ribbon, so you can take the Polar idea and literally fly with it, like this little butterfly in the shape of a tag. If you loved the idea of elongating the Polaroid to make it a little bit longer, such as the tag, this idea is beautiful, as you can create a little film strip of Polaroids. It's a beautiful vintage film strip that I created digitally, but you can also use it to add your own pictures on top. These were some photographs that I took from a magazine, some sweet little flowers, a beautiful French home, the home of my dreams, honestly, and then a lovely little picnic. This film strip could be in my journal. It would document the perfect day. a sweet little picnic. Then you go to your beautiful little chateau in the middle of the woods. And then you go and have some fun in your garden to see the plants at a glance. This is so adorable. So think about Polaroids in the version of a film strip, and you take a beautiful idea and transform it into something new. Now, if you love Polaroids but you want them a little bit bigger, this is an example that I created for the Rosabella journal together. I took one of my digital papers. I cut my paper with some decorative scissors to give it a nice edge on the side. So you don't have to cut your Polaroid and have them always be straight on all sides. You can cut them with a decorative edge, and that immediately transforms your Polaroid effect, and it makes it feel a little bit more vintage and organic. This is just an image of a really sweet lady walking to the ocean. She reminded me of her sweet Rosabella. And what I did instead of a sentiment is I added some lace at the bottom and a little scrap piece of wallpaper. This to me is another version of a Polaroid, just a little bit bigger. And this can even be turned into a full page in a journal if you wanted to. Now, of course, if you want to create beautiful Polaroids that have no limit to their size, this is the perfect example. This is a book page that I took. I added some scrap paper, some French script at the top, this gorgeous image from a magazine. I love all these colors together. And then I added a sentiment from another magazine that said, "If you could see," and I just added in "beautiful girl" to finish the sentiment. This is definitely the largest Polaroid that I think I've ever made. It measures 5 inches by 6 tall. Please don't be limited to the standard size for a Polaroid. You can create magic with different Polaroids, different images, different sizes, transform it into something new, make it a little bit more organic, or keep it more traditional and add your beautiful signature touch to it. So this is just an example to all of the possibilities that you can create and even alter, and how you can use Polaroids in your beautiful paper projects and in your journals. Create something that really represents you, how you're feeling, the papers that you're loving, and the colors that you want to see in your artwork. I want to create 2 Polaroids for you just to share with you how easy it is and how I personally love to make my own Polaroids. This is an image from the Bliss Victoria magazine, and I'm just going to cut part of it off, and we're going to use these beautiful flowers to be their center focus for a Polaroid. And I'm also going to be using this beautiful art piece that came from an art journal magazine by Somerset Studios. This is some artwork from an artist that was featured in that magazine, and I fell in love with it. It really spoke to me. So if you yourself are an artist, definitely take your own artwork and use it as the focal point for your Polaroids. So I'm going to use that beautiful art piece. I'm going to also be using this scrap piece of paper and one of my postcards that comes with the bloom stickers. And I think that this postcard will give us that beautiful effect that I want the Polaroid to have. So I only want to work with this part here. I don't need the part of the postcard that has the little stamp on it. And now we have this beautiful space to now create our Polaroid with. I think I might cover up the font just because I want to add my own sentiments to this beautiful art piece. And as you can see, we're already forming the beginnings of our Polaroid picture because this side and this side match equally. I love this decorative edge on the top. It looks like lace. And now we're going to take this little scrap piece of paper and we're going to add it to the bottom to extend it and give it that final Polaroid look to it. And we created our beautiful Polaroid using 2 different bases. The postcard base from our stickers, a scrap piece of paper, and we used that gorgeous artwork. Here at the bottom, I feel like it's missing something. I have this trim card from one of our treasure boxes, and I want to use some of this lace right at the bottom here. I just attached the lace with some glue, but you can also take this to your sewing machine. And I loved how they journaled within their actual artwork. That makes my journaling heart so happy. I'm inspired by that to do the same on the edge, but I want to go ahead and reflect on what this beautiful piece means to me. So now that I trimmed my photo to the size that I want to choose the backing for it. I have so many beautiful digitals in my shop. All of these are gorgeous wallpapers, vintage pieces, and I'm trying to find which one of these beautiful wallpapers and patterns will look the best with my Polaroid and the image that I want to use. So many roses. This one I absolutely love, but I don't think I want to cover this up with the Polaroid image. I want to find some blues, and this is some gorgeous piece of French fabric that I hadn't scanned. This one could work and look beautiful. This is some French script and ledger, and then some gorgeous flowers at the bottom. Oh, but I think these two would look gorgeous. This is a really beautiful piece of fabric, and I gave it this vintage border on the edge so that you could do some journaling. I think these two together really look beautiful, so I might use these. Sticking to the blue theme, that flower looks really pretty too. I could even use some of this blue wallpaper, but I think I'm going to pick my first choice. So I think this is where I want to cut and trim our paper. This is going to be a longer style Polaroid. I want to cover up that little script by using one of our beautiful filigrees. These were some filigrees that we created and included in the treasure boxes, and I want to add it right along here so that it covers the script and it gives the top a lot of motion. So it mimics the ocean. Oh my gosh, that rhymes. So it mimics the sky, the clouds, and the ocean. I really love this. Oh, this is so elegant and beautiful. And I feel like the bottom needs to be embossed. What do you guys think? I feel like it needs some texture at the bottom. I just finished passing it through the embossing machine. And now what I want to do is I want to take some of this textile to give it a little bit more movement on the bottom, just like on the top. And this is just another example of how you can create a beautiful Polaroid that's textured this time with a filigree, some fabric at the bottom, some embossing, but the possibilities are endless because you can create your Polaroids of any type of size, any type of shape, any type of theme, styles. Polaroids are so magical, so beautiful. If you love Polaroids as much as I do, definitely check out the beautiful physical Polaroid pack that's in the shop, as the Polaroids are already decorated for you. All you have to do is use them in your beautiful artworks. So I hope that this video helped shine a little bit of light on the reasons as to why I love Polaroids. I hope that you guys loved this video, and definitely stay tuned for part 2, as we're going to take all of the beautiful Polaroids that we created together, that I've made, and also the Polaroids that are included in the beautiful Polaroid pack in my shop. We're going to turn Polaroids into journal pages, and I can't wait to share that video with all of you. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope that you have an incredible day full of peace and love. I hope that your soul is blooming wherever you are, and I will talk to you guys very soon.